said
I think that's going to be the topic.
you want to make this one quick, right?
Yeah, we're going to make this one a little quick.
Okay. All right.
I think that should be the topic, though.
Well, do you want me to play the call?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me just a second. Go ahead and introduce the show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the After Buzz podcast. My name is Nico Edgemini, your host of the After Buzz, and of course, with me today is Buzz Adams.
Hello.
We were talking about a neckline call, which is our voicemail system.
Sometimes the people call with questions, and sometimes they're very random.
And if you want to call and leave a question or answer or statement or thought, you're more than welcome to. What's our
neckline number is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and the number is 844-805-NECK, 844-805-6325. See, I think this is the one area where podcasts fall short, and that is you can't really do a call-in show.
You can these days now.
Can you?
The podcasts I'm watching now have call-in segments. And the way that we're doing it.
But people know what you're talking about because they're listening to it in real time, which is not typically how podcasting works, right? It's
the general, and it depends on the kind of podcast you listen to, but yes, generally podcasts were...
There's not a lot of
online
audience interaction.
Yeah, they were meant to be downloaded and listened to later.
Here we go. We're gonna maybe do a first. It's a phone call on a podcast.
Good morning, Mo Show. Hey, Buzz. Hey, Nico. I got a question that I think we've all been wanting to ask. Where does Nico Edgemini shop? Nico, if you got a show, a show that Saturday or whatever, you want to look kind of nice, where do you go? Walmart, Target, El Paso Mall. Considering you are freakishly tall, abnormally tall, do you go to the big and tall man shop? We know Buzz does, but we want to know where Nico goes. Anyways, have a great day. Bye.
You're like 6'2", right?
I don't think that's freakishly
tall.
tall.
I don't think that's freakishly tall either.
I'm taller than you.
You got me by an inch, maybe. In height. So I know the answer to this question, and I thought this would be a really good way to stick it to Nico because I know what the answer is.
Because you're constantly thinking of ways to stick it to me.
Your parents shop for your clothes still.
Don't say parents.
Your mom.
Right.
Okay. And I thought
your mom shops for you, though.
What, for a birthday present or a Christmas present?
Every time she's in town, she's always like going to like a Marshalls or doing something.
No, that's not true. I mean, she definitely wants to go to some stores because she doesn't live in a big city.
Well, this looks like a nice sweater, Mike.
No, my mom does not buy my clothes. I think she knows my taste or my own taste.
Okay,
but I thought you would be humiliated, but you're fully embracing it. Yeah, your mom buys your clothes. You're 37 years old. Your mom buys
35,
your clothes.
First of all. Thank you.
You're 35.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's odd whatsoever. I think
you're 35 years old.
Yeah. I told you,
do you
most
just
of
wear whatever she buys?
No, I told you most of the clothes I have are like older clothes, either from high school still or at least 10 to 12 years old. So
you know where the
I'm not like she bought them originally, but I'm not getting like she's not buying me new stuff.
Okay, well if you need a new shirt, when's the last time you went out and got a new shirt or a new pair of pants? Ever? Wow. Dude, you got to be kidding me.
It's been a while. I have tons of jeans at home. It's like you don't technically need to shop. You have so many clothes at your house.
I'm a kind of a clothes horse. That's right.
A clothes whore?
Horse. That's an actual term.
Really?
Yeah.
But a clothes whore might be one too.
Maybe. Burlington, man.
Yeah.
You get some good stuff at Burlington for cheap.
I noticed that sometimes you'll get like two shirts. Let's say they have two shirts at Burlington, exactly the same, right? Same brand, whatever. They're just, next to each other. But they will fit differently, even if they're the same size.
Oh, you're saying you notice this when
I go to Burlington.
Shop there, yeah.
That Burlington, to me, the reason this is what I've always been thinking. They can get away with such low prices because they might be getting like the odd clothing.
Well, there might be some of that.
So I'm not like crazy.
You can always try clothes on. They have Do they have like a? Yeah, they have
they
a changing room or a dressing room.
I think I got one of my the first time a tailor for like a suit in high school or something was at Burlington.
I think the last time my mom was like, "We're going to shop for clothes for you," was like the year between my senior year of high school and my freshman year of college. And then after that, it's like, well, I'm a grown up. You're not ashamed in any way that your mom buys the majority of your clothing.
That she has bought. And not just her. My grandma and my aunt all love Marshalls and Ross, and they always find something that was on sale or something. Like,
I got you this sweater.
These shoes were on sale. Yeah. I'm surprised your mom didn't do that. So and I'm not even sure that much of an adult. Do you have a tuxedo?
I own a tuxedo.
You own a tux?
Yes. I decided a long time ago that occasionally I was going to be called on to go to a formal event, wear a tuxedo. Maybe I'm the MC or whatever. Tuxedo styles don't really change. Like a tuxedo that was...
The style
in the 1950s is pretty much the same tuxedo today.
You're not telling me you have a 1950s tux, do you?
Not from the 1950s, just like a black tuxedo.
When's the last time you wore it?
I probably hosted something for the ASPCA 3 or 4 years ago.
3 or 4.
3 or 4 years ago. How often do people wear tuxedos?
Not unless you're going out to parties a lot or big balls of galas.
It's specified that it needs to be formal.
Could you
black
fit
tie.
into it now?
Oh, I probably have extra room. I've lost weight since then.
Oh, so you would need it brought in.
I wouldn't go that far, but I think I would fit comfortably. I didn't lose that much weight.
Yeah, no, and you know what? This actually segues very nicely into the topic I was going to bring up tonight. Today, excuse me. Today, you're saying, no, I'm not ashamed. Okay, I love my family and what they do for me. I appreciate them. And what? What?
Does your mom ever buy you Garanimals? Do you know what those were? There was a brand of kids' clothing called Garanimals, and to figure out what matched, like the shirt would have a picture of a giraffe, and it matches any pants that have a picture of a giraffe on it. They're Garanimals for kids. Does your mom buy you those jeans with like the extra patch on the knees so you don't wear the knees out?
No. She might throw a condom in my pants if she get me one or something. Your
mom might throw a. That's very optimistic of her. I need grandchildren.
No. That's not her. I think she's saying, I don't need grandchildren. Here, get a vasectomy.
Why does this thing? The stupid thing.
Are you trying to do the voice?
Yeah. The thing where I sound like I'm your mom on the phone. It doesn't work for some reason.
Anyways, so today we're going to talk about Nepo babies and how some Nepo babies have... It's not working. Some Nepo babies had an obvious leg up in Hollywood. Like some Nepo babies were just literally handed the script or just cast because
you're this person's son or daughter. You automatically get the role. You don't even have to take a class.
Some of these people, they didn't.
Can I say something to start off this conversation? Sure. So my daughter wants to go and pursue a career in film. So she wants to go to USC Film School.
And she says she doesn't want to be a Nepo baby, but she wants to I know she wants to take advantage of whatever.
Just the idea that she thinks that I have enough pull in the entertainment industry that she could be a Nepo baby is the most misguided thing. She's like, oh, well, I know you got a lot of connections. It's like, honey, I do not.
Yeah, she would take advantage of it in a second. I know she would.
Yeah, but I don't have that kind of juice, as they call it in the business.
Number one, John David Washington, whose father is...
He's an excellent actor. Denzel Washington and John David Washington from Tenet and Black Klansman is outstanding.
He's a good actor.
He has earned everything that he has
I'm not saying he's not a good actor. I'm just saying that the nepotism, he started off as an extra in Malcolm X, you know?
He must have been a little kid then.
Yeah. And then he co-produced one of his father's films that led him to obviously, have doors into acting on his own.
You know what? Then thank God for nepotism, because I think John David Washington is just one of the best young actors. And I would say that whether he was Denzel Washington's son or not.
Okay.
By the way, what do you count as a Nepo baby?
How about if
this?
the son of Denzel Washington is getting roles because he's the son of Denzel Washington,
All right,
not because he is some undiscovered hidden talent.
Then tell me if this is a Nepo baby. Your father owns the biggest car dealership in Peoria, Illinois, and you go into the car business and you become the general manager at the age of 20 because your dad owns the car lot. Is that a Nepo baby?
If you plan on managing and running the business...
I mean, is it just any business, or is it limited to showbiz?
How about this? You have a general manager who's been working there for 30 years and does an excellent job, and you, as the owner of the entire car thing, decide you're going to hire your son to be the new manager because he needs a job.
Oh, you probably wouldn't fire the guy who's qualified. You'd probably keep the guy who's qualified to do the job.
That's what I'm saying is nepotism,
I mean, a lot of people go into their father's...
raising somebody to a level or a job that they don't deserve or they're not going to be good at.
Taking over the family farm, if you
if they do it right. I'm saying if you're raising somebody to that position and they're completely unqualified, that's nepotism.
John David Washington is definitely qualified to be an actor,
but nobody knew that before he made the movies, right? Before Black Klansman, before anything else, he would have just been the kid who was Denzel Washington's son, and people would see he's getting roles for them. What's the qualification? There is none.
That he's a great actor.
No, but before he was a great actor. Wait. You can't dismiss that part because nobody knew he was going to be a great actor, right?
But he is. It doesn't matter if people knew he was or not. He is.
But he got those roles not because he was a good actor.
I don't know that I agree with that.
I'm not talking
like in his father's movies.
Yes.
I would have thought that
you just were proven wrong.
I don't consider John David Washington a Nepo baby.
That's my point. Is that you must not understand the definition of this. Then how about Ang Lee's son, Mason Lee, set to make his major debut in an upcoming Bruce Lee biopic that's going to be directed by his father.
You say biopic, not biopic?
I say biopic, yeah. Mm-hmm. Biopic, whatever. Do you not even want to... that's the definition of a Nepo baby. Is somebody whose father was and is in the entertainment industry and gives you the role.
So I guess royalty is the ultimate Nepo family, right? If you're a member of the royal family.
Yeah.
They're all Nepo babies.
Scott Eastwood's... Clint Eastwood's son.
Not so familiar with his work, but I bet he does a fine job, I guess.
I'm not trying to diminish anybody's abilities on here. If you don't understand what we're doing,
you might have got a leg up because of who your parents know. Sure.
The whole point of this is that people guaranteed they got a leg up because of who their parents were. David Washington guaranteed he had a leg up.
John David Washington.
Okay. So,
give me some. You haven't picked out anybody who I think, the only reason that person is doing this is because of who their father is. Like everybody that you've named.
No, I'm not diminishing. Some of these people might be great actors, actresses, directors. The whole point is that they got their start from nepotism. Not that they ended up bad or that they're not good at what they do. The whole point, though...
Nepotism is a very loaded term. I mean, it kind of implies that they don't deserve it somehow.
I don't... That's not what I'm implying whatsoever.
As long as that's not what you're implying.
Oh, my God.
Go ahead. Give me some more.
Okay. Sam Levinson. He's the father of Oscar-winning director Barry Levinson. His father cast him in his 1992 film Tues, starring Robin Williams.
Sam Levinson was on Freaks and Geeks, right?
No.
Oh, this different guy we're talking about?
Yes.
Again, not as familiar.
Sam Levinson created Euphoria, the television show.
That is the guy that was in Freaks and Geeks.
No.
Yes, it was. He played one of the little friends.
Oh.
Yeah, that's Sam Levinson.
Was he? in Freaks and Geeks?
He wasn't the main nerdy kid, but he was like his best friend.
Well, either way, he probably wasn't even been in Freaks and Geeks if it wasn't for his father. Or guaranteed, okay? Guaranteed he wouldn't have been in these shows without his father.
Well, how about all the other actors who were on that show and their fathers weren't Barry Levinson?
That's not the point. Do you not understand?
I guess I don't give the point that you denigrate somebody.
I'm not denigrating them.
They went into the family business.
Okay.
Go ahead. Tell me. I'll let you know if you hit somebody that I think.
No, I'm actually. I think we're good on this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that seems like you're giving up.
You're so dense right now. I'm not even sure.
I'm telling you what I think. I think the people that you've named that I know their names.
I'm not
I think
saying
are
any of
people.
them. I didn't. Did I say none of them were talented?
I mean, it's kind of implied.
It is because I don't think that's what
nepo baby nepotism.
That's not implied that you're bad at what you do. That's not the definition of nepotism. You don't get the definition of nepotism.
Okay,
then.
give me a few more. Let me just see.
I don't even want to at this point. Judd Apatow cast his daughters Maud and Iris Apatow in 3 of his films when they were young kids, Knocked Up, Funny People, and This Is 40. Maud was then cast in 3 episodes of Girls, on which her father was an executive producer. So far, she hasn't earned any of these spots. She's only gotten them because of her father. Now, she's a great actress. She's a fine actress.
See, I don't know that.
It doesn't matter whether you know it or not. She got the job because of her dad. That's it. Okay? Her next role was in Other People, which she was recommended for by a casting director, Allison Jones. Then she was hired by Sam Levinson to be in Euphoria, and it was largely considered her breakout role.
Sam Levinson from Freaks and Geeks?
No.
He is from Freaks and
Sam
Geeks.
Levinson from Euphoria, which we're going to use as the main title because nobody knows who the fuck Sam Levinson is from Freaks and Geeks. That's not the credit I would say people will use.
It was a Judd Apatow show. I'm sorry that I'm aggravating you so much. I mean, I don't like rich kids any more than anybody else does.
No, you're just thick right now. You're not getting the definition of nepotism. You're not understanding that these are all classic examples of nepotism. John David Washington is a classic example of nepotism.
Disagree.
Why would you disagree? And you can't say he's a fine actor because he wasn't. I'm saying that his introduction into Hollywood had nothing to do with his fine acting.
Okay. Well,
could you disagree with that?
Yes.
How could you disagree with that?
I think
you think he would have been introduced into Hollywood without his dad?
Maybe not in the same way.
Okay.
Not exactly the same way. What
right.
is wrong with you? It's
honestly what.
What do you want me to say? Yeah, all these people are untalented bums.
I didn't say that. I just said he didn't get his job from his talent.
How many comedians are
he didn't get his?
Are there any comedians that are nepo babies?
I'm sure, but he didn't get his job from being talented. He didn't get introduced to Hollywood from being talented. That had nothing to do with it. He got introduced to Hollywood because his father is fucking Denzel Washington. And if your father is fucking Denzel Washington and you want to act,
I never heard Denzel Washington out beating the drum for his son, John David Washington, before.
You would never heard of anything. What do you know? What do you know?
I know talent. When
you don't know anybody that's
here's
being
one.
cast for things.
I'll give you this one. And I would have thought the world of sports was immune from nepotism because you have to perform. The fact that the Lakers drafted Bronny James, to keep his dad happy with the Lakers.
But that's not the definition of nepotism is not that they have to be bad or don't deserve what they do. The definition of nepotism is that they are introduced to the thing through connections that nobody else would have had.
Liza Minnelli was a nepo baby.
Absolutely. John David Washington is a nepo baby. He's been introduced to things that he never would have been introduced to.
Sure.
Thank you for not being a dense fucking asshole. Because you're doing it on purpose. I know you're just doing it on purpose. Yes, you are. Maud Apatow is a nepo baby because her dad is Judd Apatow.
Not as familiar with her body of work.
It doesn't matter. It's truth. Okay. Gwyneth Paltrow is a nepo baby
because her mom's Blythe Danner.
Yes, and her godfather is Steven Spielberg. Sofia Coppola is a nepo baby because her father is Francis Ford Coppola and introduced her to acting in The Godfather, Godfather 2, Outsiders, Rumblefish, Cotton Club, Peggy Sue Got Married, The Godfather 3, which was panned.
So Godfather 3, was a panned movie. Like, it was nowhere near as good as Godfather 1 and Godfather 2. But she got a special derision because she was Francis Ford Coppola's daughter. And she went on to be a fantastic director.
She's a great director.
Virgin
it has nothing
Suicides,
to do,
Lost in Translation.
But she got her start because of who her father was.
I would agree with that.
You have to agree with all of these. You have to agree with all of them. This is an opinion.
How about Francis Ford Coppola's nephew, Nicholas Coppola?
Absolutely, Nepo baby.
Really?
He was introduced to Hollywood.
But he changed his name from Coppola to Cage. Nicolas Cage was born Nicholas Coppola, and he, for whatever reason, changed his famous last name.
Well,
so does that get him off the hook of being a Nepo baby?
No, because it's the same thing. You're trying.
Well, he was in Peggy Sue Got Married, which was directed by Francis Ford Coppola.
I have Scott Eastwood on here. It's Clint Eastwood's son, and he tried by going by his mother's last name when he first started acting. So he kind of what you're saying is like, does it count still? Well, apparently acting directors and casting directors said that he looked exactly like Clint Eastwood, like a mini Clint. He looks like a mini Clint Eastwood.
Okay.
When he was young, so they knew who his father was automatically.
Can I mention a couple of historic Nepo babies?
Sure. I was going to get to Angelica Houston, is
John Huston's daughter.
Right.
All right, I got one for you. John Wilkes Booth was part of the most famous acting family in America, the Booths. His father and his brother were both famous actors, and he was considered the most handsome actor of his day, I guess right up until he shot Lincoln in a theater.
How about this one? Okay. Do you watch the new Saturday Night Live?
Yeah.
There's 3 members of a comedy troupe on there.
Please Don't Destroy.
Please Don't Destroy. Ben Marshall, John Higgins, and Martin Harley. And they got famous for comedy TikToks before they joined SNL.
3 of the 4 of them have famous fathers. Now, not as famous as Denzel Washington,
but that's
the
point.
Writers. It
seemed like a Cinderella story until it came out that 2 of them had fathers who were longtime writers and producers on Saturday Night Live.
They did a skit with Dakota Johnson. You know, her parents are Don Johnson and Melanie Griffith. Yeah. They did a Please Don't Destroy video where they engage. They're like, nepotism powers activate.
That's funny.
Yeah. So,
but again, it just goes to show that these people just had access before others because of who their families are.
I guess, okay, let me put it this way, and I'm not trying to be an asshole, I promise. I don't see it as a big deal.
Okay, it's not. I'm not making it a big deal. I'm just saying this
People
is a
make
list.
A bigger thing out of this nepotism
I think you're making
deal.
the bigger deal out of what it means and trying to like extrapolate some meaning I'm putting into this. I'm not putting any meaning into this whatsoever. This is just a list.
Would you call me a Nepo baby?
No, because you don't have parents who introduced you to opportunities which eventually became your career. Like, it's not like your dad was a station engineer or an AE or account executive.
No connection to radio or media. He was a factory manager.
Now, if you became factory manager,
right? If I had succeeded him as factory manager,
then yeah, that's nepotism.
So would you say I deserve extra praise that I did it all on my own without any family connections?
I think that absolutely. I think there's some merit and a lot of honor and celebration in that. Again, I'm not saying these people, I'm not diminishing these people's take on it, dude. I'm not trying to say that just because I'm calling them Nepo. I think you're focusing on the word nepotism and Nepo baby.
It sounds like a slur.
I'm not making a slur about any of these. I'm just pointing out the fact that they would not have the opportunities without the family members who they're related to.
Okay.
This is a fact.
RFK Jr., Nepo baby or not?
Yeah, all those people.
Jeff Bridges. Any Kennedy.
Jeff Bridges is the son of actor Lloyd Bridges.
And the brother of Bo Bridges. You didn't know that? Jeff Bridges has a famous brother, Bo Bridges.
Yeah, I know Bo Bridges.
Yeah.
No, I had no idea.
You didn't know? Also, there are other brothers, Todd Bridges, who played Willis on Different Strokes.
Oh, that's interesting. So, anyways,
of course,
I wasn't a big Different Strokes fan, so I couldn't have really told you anything.
You think what you're talking about, Willis, is the brother of Jeff and Bo Bridges?
Could have been adopted. Who knows?
How about if you're just
Growing up, Jeff Bridges appeared on his father's shows Sea Hunt, The Lloyd Bridges Show, and The Loner. So
Jeff, but he was in Last Picture Show. That's where, or else Bo was. Yeah,
and before he had other small roles before landing The Last Picture Show, launching his career. But see, do you see how his introduction came by way of his family?
Yeah, he kind of got his beak wet a little bit through the help of his dad.
Will Smith's son, Jaden Smith.
Oh God.
Well,
now I think you've really hit on something there.
Because you don't like him and you think he's not good at what he does. I'm not going to say he's a bad actor.
After Earth was a terrible movie. I won't put it all on him. I mean, it wasn't just
his dad.
him.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't that either. It was just an awful, awful movie, and it had to have been.
He got to start starring alongside his dad in The Pursuit of Happiness. After that, he landed a role in The Day the Earth Stood Still, the one with Keanu Reeves, which was panned as well. Then he was cast as the Karate Kid, which I think he did fine.
I never saw that.
Cooper Hoffman, the son of Philip Seymour Hoffman.
I've only seen him in a movie that came out called Licorice Pizza. And he is just so reminiscent of his dad. And his dad is such a fine actor who left us way, way too soon. So I'm really rooting for Cooper Hoffman.
Grew up making small films and helping out Paul Thomas Anderson, a collaborator of Philip Seymour Hoffman's. And his son, Cooper Hoffman, didn't even want to act until Paul Thomas Anderson told him about Licorice Pizza, asked him to read the script.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to continue. That's the only thing that I know that he's been in.
Once Hoffman told him he wanted the role,
he just gave it to him?
They did some camera tests, and then he got it.
Yeah. How about if there's a sibling couple, like I'm going to say Dennis Quaid and Randy Quaid, but they don't have famous parents? Do they qualify as Nepo? Because
that's interesting.
Because Randy was a little older than Dennis Quaid.
That's an interesting question. Is can you slide your
nepotism
to the side? And I'm not sure that's called nepotism anymore. But that actually brings me up to my last one, which I think is interesting. Blake Lively.
Really?
Yeah.
Her mother or father was an actor?
Both. Okay. Yeah. So Blake Lively's father is actor Ernie Lively.
I don't know if you know, but we're in the middle of kind of like a real campaign against Blake Lively.
I know.
There's like a lot of people that are saying she's not such a nice person.
Well, I thought that was even more interesting, learning about the kind of nepotism that got her start in Hollywood. So her father is actor Ernie Lively, and her first role was in a film he directed. The film is called Sandman. Her mother is a talent manager, like a famous talent manager in Hollywood. And her brother started acting. Her brother got an agent, okay? And her brother told his agent, hey, send my little sister Blake on a couple of auditions one summer, which is when she booked The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, which her father also appeared in.
I'm not sure that I've ever seen Blake Lively in anything. I'm sure that accidentally I have, probably, right?
Yeah, you definitely have. Probably Green Lantern.
Yeah, I remember so little about that movie.
In case you don't know.
Oh, crud. Is that where they met?
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds?
Well, I'm sure they'd met somewhere else. But
right.
Yeah, that is. In case you don't know, getting your agent to send a sibling on auditions is not a normal thing that normally happens in Hollywood.
Okay, but...
And it's highly unlikely that an actor with one credit under their belt without a formal agent would be sent to audition for a major featured film.
Okay, but her parents, I would say, I don't know much about them, but they're not exactly household names, right? Ernie Lively,
I don't know. That's not even...
That doesn't have anything to do with it, how successful
with the definition of nepotism, no. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it just... Did they get your foot in the door? Now, if like somebody was an electrician on the movie set, and I wouldn't...
a foot in the door.
You know what? That's true. I mean, it still is a foot
Harrison
in the door.
Ford started off as
a carpenter,
right? Carpenter for George, and he was doing work at George Lucas's house.
That's insane, right?
I think I'm telling that story right.
Yeah.
Like he had a few roles, it didn't pan out, And then he was working as a carpenter, and Lucas cast him in American Graffiti.
Yeah.
And, Harrison Ford is never going to be nominated for an acting award. Back in the old days, they would give somebody who was not necessarily a great actor an Oscar.
Like
John Wayne. Yeah, no, like a real Oscar. John Wayne won a Best Actor Oscar.
But he wasn't the best actor.
No. He'd just been in so much stuff, they felt like they owed it to him. I don't think Harrison Ford is ever going to get the recognition he deserves as an actor. Because he's pretty, let's face it, he's pretty wooden.
He's fucking Han Solo.
But he's fucking Han Solo and Indiana Jones.
How about this one? Bryce Dallas Howard is a Nepo baby to the extreme. Her father is director Ron Howard, and her mother is a famous writer.
Ron Howard's father, Rance Howard, was an actor in the 1950s and 60s on TV, and both Ron Howard and his brother Clint became child actors.
Yeah, I would say that's nepotism. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but Rance Howard is not a household name. I'm willing to bet you've never even heard about that.
But her first roles were as extras in Apollo 13 and A Beautiful Mind.
Okay.
So she had her foot in the door.
Did you ever see Lady in the Water? It was an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
I was just about to bring that up. After she did study acting in college, most of her first roles were in theater, and she was noticed by M. Night Shyamalan in a production of As You Like It. And he cast her in The Village and Lady in the Water, but neither of which she had to audition for.
This reminds me of I think a Letterman joke. He was talking about Hugh Hefner's daughter had been named as the publisher of Playboy. This was like back in 1983. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, Hugh Hefner's daughter just got the job as publisher. What are the odds of that?
Yeah, what are the odds?
Right.
Also, fun fact, Bryce Dallas Howard was once babysat by Tom Cruise as a kid.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Hey, Tom, I need you to take care of the kid.
Don't worry, I'll keep the thetans off of her and make sure she worships Xenu. Was Ron Howard into Scientology?
I don't think so. Tom Cruise was a kid, too, at the time, I guess.
Probably a little.
Teenager.
I mean, no. Tom Cruise is like 60 now, and Bryce Dallas Howard is 40, so he's 20 years older than her.
Yeah, I'd say. Wasn't he like a brat packer or like a teenage kind of?
Well,
The Outsiders.
He was in The Outsiders, which all the hot young actors
Ralph
were.
Macchio.
By the way, check out Outsiders. It was before Tom Cruise had his teeth fixed. His teeth were jacked up.
Yeah. I think that was his first role, right?
It was one of the it had to have been one of his very first roles. But then he became a huge star.
Endless Love.
Tom Cruise was in Endless Love.
1981, yeah. And then in the movie Taps.
Yeah, that's right.
But then Outsiders in 83, and then Risky Business in 83.
Oh, Risky Business was his real breakout, I think.
Yeah.
When he comes sliding across the floor in his underwear. Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
Just take those old records off the shelf.
All right. Do you feel like you understand the definition of nepotism a little bit better now?
I feel exactly the same way as we did when I started this. If somebody's got talent, they shouldn't be made to feel bad about it just because of who their parents are.
It's not.
That's the way I feel about it.
It's not saying. It's not making anybody feel bad when you're just calling out what it is. You're saying what it is. Don't feel bad about it.
I appreciate talent and hard work, and it sounds
Nobody's
like a lot of those people on the list.
But fucking John David Washington is a Nepo baby.
Agree to disagree.
You have no right to. All right. Well, I'll talk to you next time.